The Grand Inquisitor, one of the most fun leaders in all of Star Wars Unlimited. Through his ability, constantly readying up your units and be able to swing for lots of damage, he is really fast, really aggressive, and a lot of fun to play. And through Legends of the Force dropping and giving us lovely new toys such as the Strike Ship, Thralls of the Coven, and the Grand Inquisitor unit, this deck has got so much stronger and somehow even more fun to play. So if you like playing decks that can put out absurd amount of damage at absurd pace while also doing a lot of fun combos, then this is the deck for you. But before we jump into the leader, the base and how the deck likes to play, if you enjoy Star Wars Unlimited content, make sure to like and subscribe because there's going to be plenty more deck videos coming. The gameplay videos are very soon, and there's going to be more box openings when future sets come out. And I really don't want you guys to miss out. With that being said, let's crack on to this deck. So kicking things off for this deck is the leader. And of course, for the Grand Inquisitor deck, we need, well, the Grand Inquisitor leader. So what does he actually do? So he's got an action, deal 2 damage to a friendly unit with 3 or less power, and ready it. Trust me when I say this, that ability is absurd within this deck. We look to harness that through using lots of cards with raid and grit, so we can ready them and just swing for loads of damage. And before the opposition knows it, we get to like 5 resource turn, maybe 6 resource, and they've got like 25, 26 damage on their base. So literally on your 5 resource turn, you can play out something like your Thralls of the Coven, activate your Grand Inquisitor, do 2 damage to it, and ready it immediately. Meaning this turn, you have played out a unit and readied it and then can swing for 6 damage. Insane! When the Grand Inquisitor deploys, he comes out on 6 and he's got 3 attack, 6 health. So let's be honest, that stat line for 6 drop is terrible. However, he's got an ability. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to another friendly unit with 3 or less power and ready it. So the reason he comes out so late, because the combos you can do with this ability is absurd. Just to put things into consideration for you, if on your 5 resources you've done that Thralls of the Coven combo and hit for 6, go into 6 resource turn, you can hit for 6 again, activate Grand Inquisitor, do another 2 damage, readying it, meaning you can hit for 6 again, then you can deploy your Grand Inquisitor, attack, do 1 more damage here, ready it up and hit for 6 again. So if they don't stop you, just with those 2 cards in 2 rounds, you can do 27 damage. But of course, you need them to not disrupt you or take anything off the board. But that's where things like our shields come in to protect our cards and ready them. Talking of shielding units is our base. We go for the 25 health security complex. It's got an epic action, give a shield token to a non-leader unit. I can't stress enough how important this base is. For example, if we have got something like our Thralls of the Coven out and it's got 4 damage on it, so you know we can ready it up, it's only got 1 HP, activate the security complex, give it a shield, and then when you activate the Grand Inquisitor to ready it up, you just ping off the shield and then you're good to go. Or another really valuable way to use this security complex is to give the shield to a ready unit and then use this unit to just crash into something and clear their board. 99% of the time, that is what I'm using it for. I'm using it to shield a unit to then defeat something on their side of the field, meaning we've then got a unit left, they've got nothing, then activate Grand Inquisitor, ready up, swing for base. So with 1 card, you have taken out a unit and done damage. But very quickly, before we jump into the ground units, I'm going to tell you how this deck looks to play and how you can play it, so that when we go over the units and the events, it makes more sense. One of the biggest mistakes I see people do with this deck is that they just damage everything, ready up, and just ram into base as fast as you can. Yes, you can do that with this deck, and yes, you can win by like 3-4 resources by doing that. And sometimes I do that. Against the hard control matchups, you kind of need to do that to win before they get going. However, a way to play this deck that I don't see many people do is actually clear off the units with your units, either with the grit or with the shields, meaning our units survive and they're down 1. The reason that is so important for this deck is because 1 unit, like I showed earlier, the Thralls of the Coven, can be played out, you can ready him up, shield it, clear a really strong unit they control, then the next turn we've got this unit good to go. Then by the time we get to our 5, our 6 resources, they may be on about 10, 15 damage, you might be on like 5, 6, and then we do our wombo combos with the Grand Inquisitor, with Thralls of the Coven, and yeah, it's over. I'm not gonna lie, this deck is relatively hard to play to make it the most effective you can. Of course, you can just ready up, hit for base, and you can win that way. And you can win that way more than you may think, but knowing when to trade into units, when to shield units, it's tough. Like, I still get it wrong, and I've played this deck a lot. But yeah, they're the two ways to play this deck. You've got your hard aggro, swinging into base as fast as you can, or you've got your play out your units, ready them up, shield them, clear their units off the board, and then go bang in the 5 and 6 resource turn. That's enough of me yapping on. Let's crack on to these ground units. Kicking things off with the ground units is a 2 cost, and it's a survivor from the original build, Scout Bite Pursuer. Still a super solid card within this deck. So it's 1 attack, 4 health, but more importantly, it's got grit. Meaning when you activate Grand Inquisitor and ready it up, it then gets free damage. Into your hard control matchups, getting this turn 1 is beautiful, because you can just ready up, bang, there's free damage. I also found this card one of my favourite cards within this deck to either bait out things like Tarkin Town, because you can damage it and ready it, or by using this damage to then trade into units they control. Moving on to our next 2 costing ground unit is a Pike Sentinel. So it's a 2 attack, 3 health, and of course Sentinel. So this is one of the big changes within this deck. You may be thinking, why are you running this card? Because it puts in a lot, and I mean a lot of work for us. If you've attacked with the Thralls of the Coven, so still only got the 2 damage from your last turn, you may be thinking, I'm going to wait for him to ready it up so it's nice and weak. Just pay 2. There's your Sentinel. Okay, cool. I'm going to damage him, ready him up. What's that? You have to hit this Sentinel? Oh no! By the time they've taken him out, your Thralls is hit for 6. So I do feel bad for the Pike Sentinel. He is a punching bag, but he's a beautiful punching bag because he will just take hit after hit and allow your big cards to swing for game. And worst case scenario, you can do 2 damage and ready him up, or you can just give him a shield, meaning you've got a 2 cost shielded Sentinel. Moving on to our 3 costing ground units, we've got 2 Death Watch Loyalists. I would drop this down to 1 if I have a certain 1 more card that I get to in a minute. So it's 3 attack, 3 health with grit and overwhelm. The main thing about this card is beautiful to play it out, do your 2 damage, ready it up, you've then got a 5 attack unit with overwhelm, good to go. This is a really good target for, well, Security Complex, give it a shield, and then normally clear something, do the overwhelm damage, and he survives. The only issue is, he is extremely squishy, so if you're going to do that, you have to make sure they've got nothing on their side of the board, so he then lives for the next turn. And against Talzin, if you do this, you're asking for trouble, and he will go down. Next, 3 cost, and we want to run 2 of them. I would run 3 and drop a Death Watch Loyalist if I had a 3rd, and that is 2 Grand Inquisitors. So it's 3 attack, 4 health with hidden, which is actually really, really important, because you can play it out, damage him with Grand Inquisitor, ready it up, and they can't attack it. It can just swing straight away and get that consistent 4 damage. The only way they can get rid of him on the turn he deploys is, well, with events and upgrades, and if they're using it on a 3 cost Grand Inquisitor, happy days. It's got raid 1, that is why it's hidden for 4, but this is the main part of why this card is insane for this deck. Other friendly Inquisitor units gain hidden. Yes, they gain hidden. So that means if this card is out and you deploy your Grand Inquisitor, he comes out with hidden. They can't touch him. The amount of times on my 6 resources I've played out the Grand Inquisitor, damaged him, readied up, swung for 4, then I've deployed Grand Inquisitor, they can't touch him, and then played out the 5th brother, so then they've got 2 options on who they're going to do the removal on. One or the other typically goes, and then we can attack, ready him up again, attack again. Who would have thought the Grand Inquisitor would be great in a Grand Inquisitor deck? Our next 3 costing ground unit, we've just seen it, that is 3, 5th brother. This card is 2 attack, 4 health, which reads, this unit gains raid 1 for each damage on him. That is insane with Grand Inquisitor. For the reason of, if he has 3 damage on him, technically he's attacking for 5, but we can still ready him with Grand Inquisitor because he's still under 2 attack, meaning in theory we can infinitely ready this guy up. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to this unit and 1 damage to another ground unit. This card has got 2 really important plays for us. One of them is, well, it just deletes Village Protectors because his on attack ability, damage him, then damage the Village Protectors, pinging the shield, then he finishes them off. Or the second one, he's insanely strong for deleting things like the Sabine Leader or other valuable units. Because on your 3 resources, if you play him out, ready him up with Grand Inquisitor, and then attack for base, but do his ability, doing 1 more damage to him, and then hit for base for 5, then shield him, in the next turn, you've got a unit ready to go for 5 damage, right? But this is the important part. He can take down 6 HP units, because you can attack into, I don't know, like a Sabine or a Rey leader, activate its ability, ping off your own shield, do 1 damage to that leader, and then go through with a 5 attack. So that's 6 damage just deleting something. And well, worst case scenario, if you need to attack base, having a 5 attack unit just constantly hitting base and readying up is pretty damn good. Moving on to our 4 costing ground units is 2 Dengars. So this is only in here because I don't have 2 more of the pilot Vaders. If I had 2 more of these, 100% get rid of the Dengar. But the reason it's in here is for the piloting. So it only costs 2. Attach unit gains on attack, do 2 indirect damage to a player. If this unit is an underworld unit, deal 3 indirect damage instead. Also gives it +1 attack, +2 health. The reason I went for Dengar for a pilot substitute is because our strike ship is an underworld unit, meaning we could put Dengar onto it, and it's still under the 3 attack threshold, even though it's got raid free, so we can keep readying it up. And on the attack, you're doing 3 indirect damage. So you're swinging for 4 attack and doing the 3 indirect. How nuts is that? I think you can realise why Vader's so much better though, because we swing for 6 and do the ping, but we'll get to that. Moving on to our next 4 costing ground unit is Synara-san. Probably got that name horrendously wrong. So it's 3 attack, 6 health with grit. But it has got a bit of a downside you need to be aware of. While this unit is exhausted, she gains bounty, deal 5 damage to a base. So of course they're just going to do 5 damage to your base. However, I found this card actually really strong for us. So if you play her out, do 2 damage to her and ready her up, you've then got a 5 attack unit to hit into base. Meaning going into your next turn, you've got a 5 attack, 4 health unit. Often, they'll wait for this card to attack before they look to get into it because they want to claim that bounty. It then means if you play out your clan challengers, they're not too bothered because they're focusing on this. Meaning you can then ready up your clan challengers, then you've got 2 super strong units to attack, then they have to pick which one they're going to go for. If they're just going to hit into your clan challengers, okay, happy days, you then got this card to attack for 5. Out of all the cards in this deck, this is the one I probably use the least. However, it can come in clutch and do absurd amount of damage for you. But please, if you're playing against a control deck or cards of removal, do not risk it unless they've claimed the initiative because it will hurt you. Okay, moving on to the really juicy part of this deck. This is where we look to win with cards like this. That's our 5 cost, and that's 3 clan challengers. So it's 3 attack, 6 health with raid free, meaning it hits for 6. And of course it's got Overwhelm, so you can hit into units and do the Overwhelm damage. This is one of the prime cards to activate Grand Inquisitor with. Do damage, ready up, hit for 6. It's also one of the best cards to give a shield to, meaning that when we do damage to it, we can then ready it up and have that damage not there. So we've got a fully health clan challengers, good to go. This was probably the best card in the deck for the longest of times until Thralls of the Coven came out. But it's still insanely good, and that Overwhelm makes it really nice for taking out Sentinels or trading with units with, especially if you shielded it. So it means it can take things out, do the Overwhelm damage, and survive, meaning we can then activate Grand Inquisitor again on it. Talking of Thralls of the Coven is our next 5 cost, and that is Thralls of the Coven. So it's 3 attack, 7 health with raid free. So it's another card we can play out, ready up immediately, and hit for 6 with. And that 7 health, by the way, is actually kind of insane. You don't realise how many people will struggle to take that down. Also, with the 7 health, it means we can just keep readying up with Grand Inquisitor time and time again and not need to worry too much. But it also means if it's got 6 damage on it, it pairs beautifully with a certain card that we'll go over in a minute. The main issue with this deck before is that there was only 3 clan challengers. If we got that, we were laughing because we're in such a good spot. But now, essentially, we've doubled the amount of clan challengers we've got, and it's pretty much doubled the effectiveness and the consistency of this deck. And rounding up our ground units is 1 Vader. This would be free and drop the Dengars if you had it. So I don't really ever play out on the ground, but if you have to, it's a 7/7 unit for 6, which is kind of insane. But this is why we use it. Piloting, free cost. Attach unit gains on attack. You may deal 1 damage to a unit. If a unit is defeated this way, you may do 1 damage to a unit or base. Also gives it +3/+3. Pretty strong, right? It's insane in this deck. Absolutely insane. Borderline broken. You can do 15 damage by the 2nd turn with this card. That is because if you play out your strike ship, which is 0 attack, 3 health, activate your Grand Inquisitor, ready him up, do 3 attack into the base. Happy days. Going into your next turn, put your Vader pilot onto your strike ship. So it's now got 3 attack, meaning we can still ready up for Grand Inquisitor, but it's hitting for 6. Then attack for 6 into base, so you've done 9 damage and done that ping damage. Then activate Grand Inquisitor again, then you can attack for another 6, meaning you have then done 15 damage to base while doing 2 ping damage. On top of all of that, you can then activate Security Complex, give it a shield, and yeah, it's just insane. However, you need to be very careful because it is very fragile. So if you're playing against a villainy blue deck, don't do it, because all it takes is 1 power dark side, you're out the game. That's our ground units done. Let's move on to the space units. Starting things off with space units is a 2 cost that is free TIE Bombers. So 0 attack, 4 health, and on attack do 3 indirect damage to a defending player. So activate Grand Inquisitor, ready up, boom, there's the 3 indirect. But the reason it's still in here is because you pair it with that Vader pilot. It's another card that he can give free attack to, but still ready up with Grand Inquisitor. Here's a bit of advice, by the way. If you do pilot the Vader onto this, is that do the 3 indirect damage first. That's because typically you do indirect damage, they'll probably put 2, maybe 3 into a unit, then meaning the Vader ping can finish off that unit, then you can do another bit of damage. Our next space unit is another 2 cost. You've already seen it. That's free Strike Ship. So 0 attack, 3 health with raid free, meaning it hits for free, and overwhelm. So the excess damage go to the base when defeating a unit. But this is the prime card to put Vader onto. Hitting for 6 with a 2 cost unit is just absurd, especially because there's no limit how many times you can ready it up, because it always will stay under that free damage. It's insanely good. I'm not going to go over all that combo again. If you've jumped to this point in the video and you missed it, go to the Vader pilot where I talk about the combo. But yeah, 15 damage with this card in turn 2. It's just not fair, and if they aren't ready for it and they haven't got any answers for it, it will just win you the game on its own. Moving on to our 3 costs in space units is free Von Reg's TIE Interceptor. So it's 3 attack, 4 health. If it has 4 more power, it gains overwhelm. If it has 6 more power, it gains raid 1. It's alright, this card. It's mainly in here because it's a nice space unit you can ready up with Grand Inquisitor. But yet again, if you manage to get Vader onto this, you can't keep readying it up, but it will get that raid 1, meaning it will hit for 7. Like, it's good. It's not optimal, but it's alright. It's just kind of in here. This is kind of a card I probably would drop once better cards come out, but for now, it's in here. Moving on to our 4 costing space units, and one of the new best toys Legends of the Force has brought us, that is the Scimitar. So it's 3 attack, 4 health. You're thinking, oh, is that it? However, while this unit is damaged, it gains plus 3 attack. You know what that means. You can play it out, activate your Grand Inquisitor, do 2 damage to it, and then ready it up. Then you can hit for 6 damage with a 4 resource card. And then one thing you can also do, if you're confident they haven't got the removal, give a shield to it. Meaning the next turn, you can confidently hit for 6 again. As you can probably tell for our Strike Ship, our Scimitar, our TIE Bomber, the pilots, we can easily flip to space. So if they're just clogging up our ground, it was like, okay, we'll just go space and do equally as much, if not more damage. That's what I really like. We can go wide, which is really important against those control decks. And rounding up our space units is 2 Devastating Gunship. So it's 3 attack, 5 health, and because it's 3 attack, it means we can ready it up with the Grand Inquisitor. It has got grit, so 1 ready up gives it 5 attack. And when played, you can defeat an enemy unit with 2 or less remaining HP. You'll be surprised how often that will come up within this deck, because they're typically running to your units, try and defeat them, so they end up being quite weak, or you've then ended up doing quite a bit of ping damage with your TIE Bomber or your Vader pilot. So this coming out and cleaning up is actually quite nice. The reason I've actually dropped it down to 2 though is because it only gets the 1 ready up because of the grit, so the other cards are just better for us. That's our space units done. Let's crack on to the events and upgrades. Kicking things off the events and upgrades is a 1 cost, and that's 2 Force Lightnings. So choose a unit. It loses all abilities for this phase, and if you control a force unit, pay any number of resources and deal 2 damage to the chosen unit for each resource paid this way. To be honest, you don't normally use that second ability within this deck. You just use it to delete Sentinel for the phase. The amount of times I've got to the 6th resource turn and they've paid all their resources or paid out a big Sentinel, boosted it up just to stall me out. So maybe I'm like 1, maybe 2 attacks away. I just play Force Lightning, turn it off, play out a Frauds of the Coven, do the combo, boom, there's game. Moving on to our 2 costing events and upgrades, we've got 2 Grim Resolve. So attack for non-leader unit, it gains grit for this attack. The reason that is so good, because maybe you've got Frauds of the Coven out, it's got 6 damage on it where you've readied up 3 times. You need 1 attack to win. Oh, not too sure. Grim Resolve, meaning it will attack for your 6 anyway, plus the 6, meaning it's going to hit for 12 damage. That will see most games out. Or another example where this card is insane is on your clan challenges. Because it's got that overwhelm, maybe you've got a sentinel, maybe you've got a leader unit out, play this. Meaning it will hit 6 normally, gets the +5, it will hit for 11 and do overwhelm damage. That has won me more games than you may think, by the way, the overwhelm plus Grim Resolve and damage on this. Our next 2 cost in event and upgrade is to Cover the Wing. This card, create an X-Wing token and give a shield token to another unit. Like I said earlier, shields are our best friend. Getting them out onto our units means we can trade into their units and survive. This card is also one of your best friends to base out attacks or bits of removal. It's on your 6 resource turn, you activate Cover the Wing. Give a shield token, create a lovely X-Wing for you. They must be thinking, they want to ready up that Thralls of the Coven. So you activate Grand Inquisitor, damaging this, readying it up. Then this point they will normally run something into your Thralls of the Coven, defeated. You may be thinking, this is really not good. However, it's a lot better than you may think. Deploy your Grand Inquisitor, attack with him, remember on attack, deal 1 damage to a unit of 3 or less power and ready it up. Your X-Wing token, it's got less than 3 power, you can ready it up. Hit the base for free. Then if you have it, which is one of the biggest surprises within this deck, you can then put Vader onto this, then you've got a 5 attack X-Wing all of a sudden ready and can hit for base. That has won me quite a few games. Moving on to our free costing events and upgrades, we got 2 Open Fires. Simply a bit of removal. They play out a Sentinel, just get rid of it. They play out a leader, rammed it into one of your units, hasn't got much health left, play this, defeat it. Moving on to our next free cost is 2 Fallen Lightsabers. So attach to a non-vehicle unit. If attached unit is a force unit, it gains on attack, deal 1 damage to each ground unit and defend the player's control. But more importantly, gives it +3/+3. 2 things you really want to do with this card. One of them, you want to equip it onto a unit you've just readied up with Grand Inquisitor, meaning you've then probably got a 6 or 7 attack force unit. Or, which I really like doing, is giving your Fallen Lightsaber to your Grand Inquisitor. Because he's not particularly good normally, making him a 6/9 with that ability is actually kind of cracked. And rounding up our main deck is a 4 cost, that has 2 Takedowns. Simply defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. This is in here purely to get rid of Sentinels, or purely to get rid of something that you think is going to be annoying to clear your units. And of course, on top of that, this can hit leaders, so yeah, again, if they've used a leader to hit into one of your units and hasn't got much health left, play this, get rid of it. That's our main deck done. Let's crack on to this side deck. Kicking things off the side deck is 2 System Patrol Craft. So it's 3 attack, 4 health with Sentinel. So because it's got 3 attack, we can activate Grand Inquisitor and ready it up. But the main reason it's in here is because if we do want to go space, and they've got a lot of space as well, playing this up just shuts them down. Especially if you give a shield to it, because then it takes 2, maybe 3 attacks to get through it, and by that time you swung for like nuts amount of damage. Our next side deck option is another 4 cost. That is 2 Shuttle ST-149. So it comes out shielded, but when played and when defeated, you may take control of token upgrade on a unit and attach it to a different eligible unit. It's also got 3 attack, 4 health, so of course the Grand Inquisitor you can ready it up, normally pinging off the shield, or if you've given your shield elsewhere, do damage to it. The reason this is now on the side deck is because I'd rather that bit of damage with the scimitar and stuff, but this card coming in against these more grindy decks, or where they're playing more Sentinels and you need to keep moving shields around, this card is huge. Our next card's a 1 cost, as the 3rd Force Lightning. Don't need to say too much about that, we've already gone over it. Our next side deck option's a 1 cost, that is 2 Confiscates. So if they are playing Sentinels and they got shields, just get rid of that shield. Shield's horrible for us. And, well, not just that, with all the lightsabers going around, there's no harm having this in there. And our last side deck option, if they are playing Sentinels, it is getting late game. We need that bit of removal. Power of the Dark Side. An opponent chooses a unit they control to defeat that unit. So we can use our units, keep clearing the board, and then just use this to defeat their leader or a high valuable target. Or late game, these control decks typically play 1 unit at a time, so just play this, get rid of it. But I will say the biggest issue for this deck, Snoke just makes us lose, so using this on Snoke is crucial. That's our side deck and the main deck done. Here is the deck list for those who want it. For final thoughts, this deck is still so much fun. Like, stupid amount of fun. Like, I absolutely have a blast every time I use it. I'm still learning new combos and paths to do with it, and I'm still learning more about the deck, as you can probably tell about the build with the shields and some early Sentinels to try and like bait them into things. But yeah, it's so much fun. Like I said towards the start of the video, when I went over how the deck likes to play, and in there when it had some tips for how to play, like, this deck does take a bit of learning. You can't just pick it up and go and hope for the best. You can, and if you go for the aggro style, you will win, but then the aggro style only gets you so far. You need to learn the combo paths, you need to learn when to trade units, and so forth. But yeah, it's a really strong deck. Of course, it's not about to go and win any PQs or any big tournaments. At the end of the day, it's just a fun rogue deck. But it can definitely take down top decks. No doubt about it. The amount of Hans I've taken down lately is insane. Of course, you got to watch out for Tarkin Town. Tarkin Town is horrible for us. And Force Throw. I cannot wait for that card to be banned, because it will be banned. But Force Throw is also disgustingly good against us. Let me know what you think about this deck in the comments. If you've tried it out, how'd it go for you? Or if you'd make any changes, what would you change and why? Also, don't forget to comment what decks I should build next, or what decks I should come back, revisit, and make newer versions of. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I should catch you in the next one.